Welcome back to Other People's Lives. I'm Greg Dybeck.
I'm Joe Santagato, and if you guys are just listening, you can now watch the show on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/otherpeopleslives to check that out.
Oh, yeah. And as you know, we have our guest on the line. Why don't you tell the viewers and the listeners what we'll be talking about today?
So we'll be talking about the story of me falling in love with my catfish.
Okay. So we're going to start with just like the catfishing aspect first. I kind of want to know sort of like the background story here. Like, where did you guys meet? I'm assuming on one of these social media platforms or a dating website of some sort. Where did you guys meet, and were there any like original suspicions that this may be a catfish?
Yeah, so I don't remember the website. It was one of those like it wasn't IMVU, but like I don't know if you guys know what that is. But
No.
it's like one of where you have like virtual characters and you
Oh,
can kind of like dress them up like you're supposed to look, but everybody kind of faked it, so everybody knew that it was fake. But like we went on there and didn't care anyways.
is it like the simulation? Like you have like an avatar and you interact with other avatars?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've never seen those, Joe?
No.
It's like The Sims, but you're like
Dating.
controlling yourself, right?
Yeah, some of them you can have sex on, so like that was a huge thing.
Wait, so your cartoons can...
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's where you met this person?
Yeah, so I met him on I can't remember the website, but it was similar to one of those.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 14.
Okay.
That's is that
Yeah.
It's like freshman
I
high
was
school, I think.
yeah.
yeah, it was like the summer after 8th grade that I first met him.
Are you even
Well,
allowed to be on one of those sites?
no.
Okay.
I mean, there's like a whole
not here to
backstory.
incriminate you,
Like,
but
obviously, my parents like didn't pay attention to what I was doing at the time.
whoa,
So,
so you're
So, like,
14 on
I got
this,
away.
playing a very
Yeah.
adult video game in a sense.
Yeah.
so you guys met, and what you kind of hit it off through the site.
Yeah, that's how it started. It was a lot of like um subtle flirting, I guess. And then a lot of private chats, which was where it kind of got inappropriate even at 14. And from there, it kind of just blossomed. AIM or AIM, I'm sure everybody remembers that.
Oh, yeah.
AOL, and yeah, that was like a giant thing. I had one of those like portable ones. So it was kind of like a cell phone back in the day. And so I would just sit in my room on it all day. It was a thing.
So you guys would talk on AIM, and you guys were met through the game. All right. So when did it become like you were actually dating this person that you haven't really met yet?
Oh, it was kind of, I mean, just like, okay, picture 14, you guys don't know me, but like 14-year-old me is like innocent and doesn't know what's going on in life and not really being paid attention to, and then just kind of wanting attention, and somebody like comes and gives it to you. And so you just kind of like become attached to the person that's always giving you attention.
What was the person like? Obviously, we are aware now that it was a catfish. So, what's the
Yeah.
identity that they were like telling you? Like, what was the age, sex? Like, who was this person on the internet?
Okay, so it was supposedly 18 or 17 or 18-year-old boy who was like just starting college or something like that, and they were living in Texas,
Okay.
going to school in Texas.
Okay. What did you make like this person aware that you were 14?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you weren't hiding that.
110%. No, I was 110% honest with who I was and like open.
How did you know
I
what they
didn't lie.
looked like? Because I don't think you could send pictures through AIM.
No, email.
Oh, okay. So you guys would send pictures back and forth via email.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the person was like a guy, scruffy, beard, glasses, tattoos, like all that stuff. So 14-year-old emo Victoria kind of loved that at the time. And so that was, I found the person's Instagram actually who they were stealing pictures from
Oh.
At the time, or you found it like now?
now, but
Oh.
like I found like the pictures that they were sending me.
Wow.
Interesting.
So we can't really brush over the fact, like, I don't think in any state it's legal to, like, well, I guess you weren't having sex, obviously,
No,
but
that was like the thing that he always said.
just
Is-
forming this. So this person was knowingly kind of forming a romantic relationship with a 14-year-old.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, but in actuality, they told me they were 17 or 18, um, but they were really 20 and a woman.
A woman?
Yeah, it was a female.
Wait,
So,
wait. So your catfish lied about their age and their gender. So they
yeah,
were
and their
actually
location. They actually lived in New York.
nothing's true. So
Nothing, yeah, absolutely nothing was true
so
about who they were.
it was a woman who was older, forming
Much older.
forming a relationship with a 13-year-old.
hmm
Wow. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. So it was kind of like the relationship with the the male was over the phone to like disguise their voice. I mean, I kind of knew from the start. Like I always had that little suspicion because they never would video chat or anything like that. And at that time, like we all had iPods and laptops with cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was totally something that should have been possible at that
Yeah.
time too. So I kind of always knew, and it was just like high school was really bad because it was a very controlling relationship. Like they took me from my friends and family. Like if I wasn't paying attention to them, like I would be in trouble, or if I didn't respond to text messages like in 5 minutes, I would get yelled at. Every day I would come home from school and they asked if I found somebody attractive. Like it was uh like a very manipulative relationship, which was perfect on who I was, like a 14 with parents that are like not paying attention and drugs and alcohol is involved and all that. It's like perfect situation. I was the perfect person to manipulate, and they took advantage of it. Obviously, I hold absolutely no negative feelings towards this person. A lot of regrets, but no negative feelings. I'm not
What?
angry or anything.
Why not, if you don't mind me asking? Because it seems like they were clearly taking advantage of you.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously they did through the entire thing. I guess it was more like more manipulation. So, okay, wait.
Well,
So
yeah, I
I
guess we
guess I
have to
kind
go
of have
back to
to
how you even
explain.
discovered.
Yeah. How'd you
that
discover
this-
that they were a catfish?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I eventually got the phone number. It was a New York phone number. I Google searched the phone number and I found the name, a name, and it was her dad's name. And I'm using these pronouns like I guess as the time we're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
So he would be the first part, and then she is this part.
Mhm.
So, um, when I, what was I saying? When I found the phone number, I found a name, and I looked up that name on Facebook, and I found a profile. And I looked through the friends of the profile and tried to find like a picture of the person.
Mhm.
Clearly, I couldn't find it anywhere, but I was like I knew it had to be related to somebody with this phone number, and so he had a wife, a son, and a daughter. So I looked at the son's profile because I assumed like it was just a guy pretending and to be somebody else because it sounded like a guy on the phone. But he kind of checked out, and then when I went to her profile, things relate like things correlated with what was happening at the time. So like she got her gallbladder out, and there was a post of her getting out of surgery on Facebook, or he told me he got his gallbladder out, and then
Whoa.
there was pictures of her on Facebook those same dates that he got his gallbladder out, and then like hanging out with friends. She would post that, like tag herself in places, hanging out with friends when he would tell me he'd be out with friends. Diesel.
What's up,
Sorry.
Diesel?
Yeah, that's my doggo.
Whoa. So like they were using their same life events,
Mm-hmm.
just changing their identity. That must feel really strange as you're finding that all and it starts to unravel in front of you.
Yeah, it was I was living at my grandparents at the time. I remember the day. They weren't home and I was sitting like on the chair downstairs, and I sent the Facebook link to them, and I was like, I know you're not who you say you are. Can you just come clean? And they immediately called me, and it was just, my immediate reaction was crying, and I guess my immediate reaction to like any emotion is crying, but so I was just bawling my eyes out, saying that like I needed time to leave me be, let me do my thing, and then we can like talk again, just trying to appease the situation, because I was kind of like, anytime I tried to break up with them in the past, because I was kind of annoyed of the manipulation, but it would always end in an argument, and then them apologizing and coming back, and all that jazz. So I let them talk me into being in a relationship with them that same day on the phone.
As now the woman.
Yeah, as now the woman. As openly the woman with me, they kind of manipulated me into agreeing to be into a relationship with them, just because I cared more about their feelings than mine.
How old are you at
And
this point?
okay. So I found out in 2009, or no, I met them in 2009, and I found out this was my first year of college, so 2013
That's
is when
how
I
long you've
found
been
out.
speaking to the person
Yeah, yeah,
as thinking it's the guy, the
yeah.
catfish.
4
So
years, my entire high school.
4 years you're talking to this person that you think is a guy.
Yeah.
Then you discover that it's a woman, and on
Hmm.
that same day you and the woman decide
We're
that you'll
dating.
still be in a relationship.
Hmm. Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so why did you agree? Like, I understand uh, it being difficult to like hurt other people's feelings, or,
Hmm.
but, um, how, like, just I'm kind of just wondering, like, how did they
Well, the
talk you into
psychology
that?
behind it of like, I'm just,
Hmm.
it's so interesting because we spoke to a catfish in the past, and do you remember that ended with the person they were catfishing and her ended up staying together. So it's like the psychology of, I like that kind of letdown or that moment of realizing this person isn't who they said they are, but it was still always that person all
Right.
along.
Yeah,
Is that kind of
exactly.
like trying to understand the psychology of like, it's still gonna be hard to walk away from someone that you've gotten to know, that you've shared
Hmm.
your self and your personal secrets and everything with for 4 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
But
And I know that it was me, a lot of it. Like, I was just unaware and not in control of my own life and asking for attention and all that jazz. So I know that, like, it was me contributing to it. I was aware. I, like, felt it in my gut. So I was aware. I just was never wanted to like lose them. I was afraid of it because they were like the only person giving me attention. And
right.
he kind of like turned me on my mom and stuff. So I had a really bad relationship with my mom because that was something else. He wanted me to move to New York before I even knew their real identity. And I think that's kind of why like I tried to find their real identity first, because they asked me to move in with them without being open. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so yeah, that was kind of where it started, I
It's just
think. Is
fascinating.
my
Like catfish, like
Wait,
just how much
are you
happens.
sexually attracted to women?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm openly pansexual. I have been
Okay.
Okay, because
most of my
I
life.
was gonna say like that would be like a
Yeah.
That's some
pretty heavy
serious
convincing. Yeah,
manipulation.
like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so were you at that point? Did you guys exchange? I mean, well, did you find out what this woman looked like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you knew from the Facebook page. You had to find out on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. I found it. And clearly stalked it.
Yeah.
Uh.
And you were attracted to her
Yeah. Nah. I mean.
enough.
Yeah. It was. Looking back on it now, we made better friends than a relationship.
So
So.
when you guys are in this relationship now,
Mhm.
uh, did you guys meet up at all, or how long did you guys date?
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote it out. It was we went to Cedar Point together. We met up at Cedar Point because that's in between Michigan and New York. And that was in March of 2014. And then April of 2014, she came and visited me. And then and then actually, the very first time we met, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. The very first time we met was December of 2013 when I visited a college in New York. Um, that I told my grandma we were going to visit a college in New York, but I was going out there to meet or the person.
Right.
So that was the first time, and then March, and then April, and then August. I moved to New York
Did you
and
moved
moved
in
in
with her?
with her and her family. Yep.
So
So this is just as full blown as a relationship can get.
Yeah, we went. I moved in with her and her dad and her mom and her brother. So like they invited me into their family. Her family is amazing. Like her mom and dad were my second parents, and I think they saw me as a kid too because I clearly was a kid. Like they knew my age. But at this time I was of legal age.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So yeah, so like it happened to come out when I became of legal age to be in a relationship with this person. But I moved there and I started going to college and I like started my life. I transferred my job there.
Okay, so you started your relationship. You moved in with her and her family,
Hmm.
and then how long did that last?
Uh, so I lived there until 2016 ish. Um, so we were dating for most of that time. It was all pretty healthy. We had a good. I feel like my relationship with her was better than my relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was a little bit less like manipulative and controlling of like who I could
Yeah, I
see,
was gonna
like all
ask
of
if
that
those
stuff.
traits kind of changed once they, were able to show you their real identity and be in person. So you're saying, yeah, it was more of, I guess, a normal relationship.
Yeah, there was still like the insecurity because they were insecure about themselves that was clearly being projected. And I think at that point too, I had grown like a tough outer shell and like wasn't afraid to stand my ground a little bit. So I kind of didn't let them control me as much, and I would just go hang out with my friends when I wanted to and not tell them and then just deal with the consequences. But it kind of also made her realize that she didn't have that control. So I feel like the relationship with her became more platonic and friendship wise because sexually I don't like, and I feel bad because it's the first time I'm going to say it out loud somewhere, but like I was not attracted to her. I can say that sexually.
Okay.
Like she was beautiful and it's like, but not my type. I wasn't sexually attracted and she always wanted sex and it was very hard for me to go with that. So I think that was the hardest part of the relationship with her, was the no sexual like attraction, whereas with him it was a lot easier to imagine.
That's so interesting. More sexual attraction to the fake person that you were imagining than the real person that you're now living with. But but you stayed with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, you're not currently staying with them. So at what point and what was the reason why that sort of ended?
Well, in 2015, we had planned a trip to Disney, and got engaged in front of Cinderella's castle. And so
hold on.
Wait, what?
Time out.
You guys got engaged in front of the castle in Disney World?
Yeah.
First of all, this story has so many layers. That's awesome. One, I'll say that. But two, you get catfished by someone who is a man, and then you find out it's actually a woman who's older, and then you guys end up you move to New York and move in with her family, and then you guys get engaged at Disney World.
Yeah.
So far, this is a roller coaster.
Yeah, if I read that like in a book, I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
I'm not believing that one.
Okay,
who proposed to who? I'm curious.
Oh, she proposed to me. She proposed to me.
Whoa.
Were you like excited or were you like, oh fuck?
I said no. The very first thing I said was no.
Oh.
You said no, but then I assume you changed your answer.
Exactly. Yeah. Immediately after, I was like, no. Yeah. Sure.
So you didn't.
It was really bad. We were on FaceTime with my family and her family too. So kind of everybody saw it.
And you didn't see this coming. It was like a complete shock.
Oh no. I knew.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew. It was pretty obvious. She was asking me, like, what kind of rings do I like?
Well,
and
there
all
you
this jazz. Yeah.
In front of the castle.
I, like, knew. But I didn't know it was coming at Disney.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like, I didn't equate that. I don't know why. That's obviously, like, the best place to propose. But as a Disney fan, which she was, I wasn't. But she's a crazy Disney fan.
So, okay, you guys get engaged. Wait,
that was 2015.
Are you guys still together?
No.
Okay.
No. So.
Wait. All right. So I'm sorry. So you guys get engaged in front of the castle. I mean, at this point, I mean, you sound like you were aware that like I'm not really into this sort of thing, but we're kind of going along. I'm too deep in at this moment.
Yeah, there's another thing. I knew I wasn't ever going to marry them, but I just kind of. Well, that's a lie. I feel like I would have married them, but just because that's what I felt like I should do more than like what I wanted to do.
So when did this actually come to a screeching halt?
So that was March. It was actually the day I read the email from you guys. March 12th of 2015, we got engaged, and I moved back to Michigan in May of 2016. And so we were engaged for a little over a year. And the reason we broke up was, so she came out as transgender. And so for like the last 3 weeks of our relationship, she was out as transgender, so it was now he again. And all of the traits that the very first person had, second he kind of brought back. And so it was the same relationship from 4 years ago, just with the new name and a new face.
So if I'm getting this right, the timeline here is you were catfished. You thought you were talking to a guy, but it ended up being an older woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys started dating anyway when you met. You moved in with her family in New York. You guys got engaged it at Disney, and then during your engagement, they wanted to identify as a man.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it like I just kind of knew it.
You knew that they
Just
were gonna do this, or this was like a kind of a
yeah,
surprise?
no, I knew it. Like what? Because why else would you pretend to be a man for 4 years of your life? And then just sex life in general. Like there was always a dildo. It was never like, and it was always me talking about riding their dick, not like I'm gonna eat your pussy. It was very clear to me
Right.
that they were trans.
Hmm.
They were never like comfortable enough, and I feel like us being engaged made them comfortable enough to know that like I'm here to support you.
Yeah.
Because I'm totally open, again, pansexual. I don't really care what you look like. I mean, obviously, like a little bit, but I don't care what body you're in. Just
So it's not the reason that you guys broke up. It
no.
just
Well,
happened
the
around that
technic.
time.
I mean, kind of. Well, so all of the traits came back, and that's the reason why.
That's so interesting.
So when they were pretending to be a man, you said it was like very manipulative and controlling. But then
Very,
when
yeah.
you had the actual relationship with the woman, it was a lot different. It was better. But
Mm-hmm.
then now that they're changing genders, you feel like those controlling and manipulative qualities came back. So you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, so I was working at a pediatrics office in New York, and every day um, on the car ride home, the entire car ride home, and the entire car ride to work, and most of my lunch had to be spent on the phone with them
Oh.
when it was him again.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when it was him the first time, every night I had to fall asleep on the phone with them because they were afraid that I was cheating on them or whatever, even though I never had. So it was just that as soon as that happened, I just didn't want it anymore. I feel like I realized being a free person again for those 2 or 3 years, whatever it was, kind of made me realize that I just didn't want to deal with that. And so I didn't.
How long were you together with the transgender version of this woman?
Not long at all. Like a week, maybe
Oh
two
wow, was
weeks.
that quick?
Yeah, it was that quick of a change, and I was just kind of done with it at that point.
What did you ever ask him why the personality suddenly changed when like what they identified as changed? Because that's so interesting.
Mm, I I haven't. We haven't really had a discussion like about our relation. So, well, okay. Let me tell you the breakup story. How I broke up because I broke up with him. So what I did was tell him and his family that my grandparents were sick at the time, and I told them I was gonna move back in with my grandparents to help them because my grandpa had just had back surgery and my grandma was going through chemo at the time, and so I told them I was gonna come back and live with my grandparents. So we were still together when I moved back to Michigan, and he came and visited one time. And then after that, I broke up with them over the phone. And I know that was a very shitty way of doing it, but if I was there and I saw their face, I know I wouldn't have been able to break up with them, and I would have, pity stayed with them.
Hmm.
And that wasn't healthy for anybody. And
It's
I
almost
don't
like
know.
full circle too. You didn't meet face to face, so you
Yeah.
ended it not face to face.
Yeah. I've never thought of that. Yeah.
This is wow. The amount of times we had to like stop
And
to
like
break
retell
down
the
the
story,
story
yeah.
because of another layer. That is quite an experience.
Yeah. So he's on T. He's been on T since we broke up, and like I talk to him occasionally, just about like how proud I am, and like his grandma died, so I sent like their family a card and uh, talked to him a little bit, just because that was really hard time. I knew how much that what he loved his grandparents, so that was like the last time we really had like any type of discussion related to our relationship at all.
You brought up like our email before. What were you like attaching to that?
What do you mean?
You were like, oh, it was the day I responded to your email or something like that.
Oh, the day we got engaged is the day that you got.
Oh, she said like March 12th or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you guys got engaged the day that you sent us the email?
No, well,
the day that I got
different
your
year,
response.
same day.
Oh.
Because that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought there was. I was like, yo, what? Like, I thought there was like. That's why
Yeah.
I was trying to make a correlation there. It wasn't there, but you know.
Wow. So from just going on this website as a 14-year-old and now up to your life now, like this, it changed the course of your life.
110%. Like it changed who I was completely. I came home in 2016 and like poured out and kind of did me for like a little while and found myself and then ended up in another relationship and I'm kind of back to being Victoria, single me.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Yeah, I was going to ask too, like, does an experience like that change dating and romance and just trust in a relationship going forward, or trust meeting new people? Because that's, just to go through something like that, where it starts off as, what it did, which is with a lie. Yeah, I'm just curious if that kind of affects you long term.
I would say it affected me, I think, negatively. I trust people too easily. So my next relationship ended up being like a guy who was stealing a bunch of stuff for drugs behind my back. And so I kind of trust people way too quick. And that is, I think, just a trait that I have. I don't think that I'll ever not have that trait.
Interesting. And I guess would you say it's that, like a trait like that allowed that catfishing to, essentially happen and for you to stick with it? Or was it genuine, like, love at any point? Or was it just kind of a form of manipulation and you being young and staying in this relationship?
I think that, well, I would say it was love for sure with the woman.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a genuine, happy connection with them, and that I would definitely had like physical love for them. But I think the first relationship with the man, I didn't, and I was manipulated into being in the relationship with the woman still, but I ended up falling in love with the woman anyways. So it wasn't like and I again, no like negative feelings towards this person. Like living in New York was the best experience of my entire life. I would not change it for a world of anything. And
It's a good place.
Great place.
Except right now, lots of coronavirus.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I lived up by Albany.
Nice.
So like in the mountains. Lived in the mountains. That's kind of, I don't know. I'm in a suburb right now, and it's just not me anymore.
Wow.
That is a quite the story there. So I mean, yeah, I just like, I don't even know what to ask. To be honest with you. Like, that's just like a wild ride. I'm glad that you feel like it's not, obviously something like that is going to have some effects, but it seems like you have a good grip on it, and you're like, I'm just doing me now, and I'm, good, which is good to hear. But what a story! Like, that is.
Yeah, it was a very like learning time, I guess. I mean, as a kid, I think that it took like, I will admit, as soon as I like got out of the relationship, I think I like played out my high school year for the first year or two after that, because I didn't like have any friends or any kind of like high school or college experience. I didn't like get to do either of those. I didn't drink until I was 21 because I wasn't allowed to.
Wow, you followed the rules.
Yeah, I
Right.
did. I followed the rules. I mean, but
Wow. Yeah. No, yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting to hear that perspective of someone on the other end. Like we were saying, how we have spoken to someone who has done the catfishing before.
Hmm.
Just to hear, someone on the other end kind of have that unfold in front of them discover it, and then obviously in your case, to stay with the person, is really, really interesting story. And we thank you for sharing that and being so open and honest about it.
Yeah, of course. I I don't know if it would relate to all like catfishers, I
Yeah.
guess. Like I don't know if I can say that they're all just kind of, but I feel like having control is a trait for most catfishers. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that being true in a lot of
I
cases.
mean, they're controlling the narrative at all times.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's just they know their prey, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely not a good thing. I think we should
No.
all be upfront and honest in a perfect
Yeah.
world. But yeah, I mean, wow. We're shocked. That was just, thank you for telling us that story. It's just insanely
Yeah.
interesting.
Not a
But
problem.
yeah, we're glad you're in a good place now, and we're able to learn from that.
Yeah. It's very very different being like who I am now from who I was. I'm a little overly confident and like overly outgoing. And in high school, I was like the person who didn't talk to anybody and sat in the corner
Hmm.
and like isolated herself. So I like who I am now. I'm happy with who I am.
That's all you could ask for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and making the time and talking to us today. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. My best friend and coworker Melinda introduced me to this podcast, so they're gonna listen to it while I'm sitting next to them at work. Her and Kate. It's gonna be interesting.
Nice.
Amazing. Shout out to
Melinda and
Melinda.
Kate. Awesome. Thanks for spreading the word, Melinda and Kate.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Our sponsor for today is Simply Safe. Simply Safe is everything you need in a home security system. It's award-winning protection. I mean, you have your home, you have all your stuff in there, so you want to keep it safe, and you could use that. You could use Simply Safe to do that. Okay, anyone could do it. It takes 30 minutes to an hour tops, and there's absolutely no trade-offs for your safety. You'll get an army of highly trained security experts ready to dispatch police to your home at a moment's notice, and they have like a bunch of things that you can set up. They have this little home pod thing that you set up first, and then there's glass break sensors. There's entry motion sensors as well. There's cameras, doorbell alerts, so you can see anyone who's approaching your home. And it's only 50 cents a day with no contracts. Okay. And The Verge actually called Simply Safe the best home security system. So hop on the train. Go to simplysafe.com/OPL today, and you'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. You've got nothing to lose, okay, except everything in your house if you don't get Simply Safe. So go to simplysafe.com, spelled SIMPLI, safe.com/OPL. Okay, one more time. That is simplysafe.com/OPL. Keep your stuff safe. Dude, I have no idea how that happens, like, in one story, if that makes any sense.
I know. I thought my story of like meeting my wife was cool, but it's not worthy anymore because that was insane. But I don't know. It's crazy to think that something like that is happening right now.
Do you think you could ever date your catfish?
I don't know. Like, I can safely say that I don't know because, like, think of an argument that you get in with a loved one. It's hard to completely erase the bonding you've done, any love that you've built for each other. Like, there's something about when you share so much of yourself with someone. I'm not saying that catfishing, talking online, hiding your voice on the phone, being avatars in a game is like the best way to go about meeting someone. And like, obviously you're putting a lot of trust in someone that you don't know, someone that's not proving who they are to you. So, there's like you're obviously, it takes, I guess in certain cases it takes two, in the sense that if you put yourself in positions of like a catfish, or like, you know, if you're going along and talking to someone that you're not quite sure who they are. But even still, it doesn't mean you're not building a relationship with this person and being vulnerable. And like, just, I think when you spend so much time being vulnerable and someone's vulnerable with you, like, that's just how bonds and relationships form. So like, I want to just easily say, no, I wouldn't be able to stay with my catfish, because I would think them breaking that news of I'm not really who I said I was for 4 years would be enough for me to be like, all right, you're crazy, I'm gone. But you just don't know what feelings are involved.
I think I know.
I don't. But it would take a lot, but
my thing is like, I just find that to be a fucking weird thing, and it's like, I get, like, I understand what you're saying from like a friend level. Like if I had been talking to someone online for so many years, but we were never like intimate or anything, and then one day they're like, by the way, I'm actually a dude, I'd be like, okay, weird. Like, why would you lie? Strange. Yeah. But okay. Because like, that doesn't really...
to be with someone romantically, potentially spend your life.
Fuck no.
The answer is no, because they just lied to you.
You lied, dude. You lied, and not only that, you lied because, like, yeah, I get it. People lie. It's not a big whatever. I just find it to be a very strange thing to lie about.
It is.
You lie about who you are, and like, I'm supposed to just be like, oh, okay, you're this new person. Like, no, because you're capable of concocting a fucking lie for years. So it's like, what else?
And be able to justify it, live with it, like...
Yeah, and I understand why some people catfish. Like, you got, you know, self-esteem issues, you're not confident in the way you look, you got this, you got that, whatever the fuck it is. And when you could hide behind a computer, you have more confidence, it's just a better feeling. I get all that. I get it. But at the same time, if you start to have feelings for someone, you can't. You're just not you.
Yes. I think it takes a lot of underlying issues to be in that point, which she did allude to. So, okay, I'm going to change my answer. No, I wouldn't stay with the person. I guess what I was saying was I can understand why certain people do. I personally wouldn't be able to, but like she said, if she's talking about, she didn't give us details, but if she's talking about a broken home, if she's talking about parents where there's alcohol and drugs involved and there's no real guidance for her, and you know, you're in a different frame of mind, you're in a different environment where that type of manipulation can work on you, or where you are so seeking attention to like a level that we can't even understand, that it's even when someone tears your world apart and says, I'm not who I said I was, I'm the exact opposite, like that you still need that attention, someone in your life so much that you can stay with them. Like, that is hard to understand, but I do understand that people are in situations where they are able to stay with people who have lied to them. Obviously it's bizarre.
It's fucking bizarre.
But it's, you know, we're 2 for 2 also on having catfish conversations dating, where people are dating. So like, there's definitely more people out there doing it.
Yeah, I would just feel very strange about the fact that, like, why would you lie about that? Or like, why wouldn't you tell me before we got like super serious about it, you know?
I think just looking through it like through our lens, where like we've been able to grow up with, for the most part, like a sense of normalcy, it's very hard to understand.
It is. It's very foreign to me. But I mean, this story in particular, like, I mean, it got past that point. She was into it. They were dating. Everything was fine. It just, you know, that was just like a lot of things there. But I'm glad that, you know, it ended up working out in her favor. Like, there wasn't a good relationship there, so she got out of it, and now she's like, you know, living her best life. So shout out to her. Yeah,
you never know the journey someone has to go through to have that sort of self-discovery and be happy.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's very, very different for everyone. And if that was hers, then yeah, I think it's good that it's positive. But wow, what a thing to go through for so long. Like for like such a chunk of her life. High school and college.
So basically you're like, yeah, that's
yeah, it's just that's one of those things that it's just almost hard to imagine like that's going on out in the world right now. And it probably is. Similar situations all over like are happening right now like that. Just wow.
It's crazy. I mean,
just don't catfish.
Yeah,
we've said this before.
It's weird. Don't catfish. Just be yourself. Someone's gonna like you. Don't worry.
Someone for everyone.
True. Listen. This is our last episode for this season, but this is the time where we want you to send us emails. We want to start planning for next season. So although we're gonna have the next 6 weeks off of no episodes, we will be back with a 10-episode season, just like always. And this is the time to send emails. So if you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, definitely send us an email. Go to oplshow.com/contact. There is a form there. Fill it out. Send us an email, and we will start scheduling them. We kind of rely on the people who listen to this show to keep the show alive. You know, it's not just us. We rely on you guys. We definitely want you guys to reach out. Don't worry about being nervous. Don't worry about whatever. We'll figure it out. So definitely don't hesitate to hit us up.
Yeah, and tell a friend, because you never know who's going to have a story. Shout out again to Kate and Melinda.
Yeah, they made this episode possible.
Exactly, and this was hell of an episode.
Oh, yeah.
So you never know. So yeah, I mean, spreading the word helps a lot. The more the show grows, the longer we can keep doing it, because new people are going to be coming into the OPL universe, learning about us, reaching out to us, coming on the show as guests. And, thank you for everything this season. It was the first season where we launched YouTube. So if you're watching, hello. If you're listening, check us out, youtube.com/otherpeopleslives. But, everything's been a success so far. We're growing. We've got a bunch of new patrons, patreon.com/OPL show. We will be putting out bonus episodes even when we're on break. So for that 6-week break, there will be bonus episodes. So if you want to hear what we're up to and see follow-ups with old guests, see us answer questions, talk about some of our deep, dark secrets, we're there. We're on Patreon, so join that community. But yeah, guys, we're going to be back in no time.
Yep, and that is all. See you guys next season.